welcome everyone. It's Sunday afternoon, so thanks very much for your time. I'm an anaesthetist, but now I'm only a pain specialist, so I've drifted into pain medicine because when I started out a long time ago, I saw people suffering, including friends and family, and I knew that this was an important area of medicine that we needed to be in. And unfortunately, it still goes. People continue to suffer with persistent pain. So I just want to give you a very brief overview on neuromodulation, what it is, where it comes from, why it's here, how to use it. So just get everyone started, and obviously we'll be here to answer your questions. I consult to a couple of companies, a couple of neuromodulation companies. I don't get paid very much for the travel, that kind of thing. If I get any money from a company, it goes into an education fund that I don't see. It is spread along our practice. The reason why I do this is because I have one belief, and that's my driver, that's my why, is no one should suffer from pain. So that's why I'm standing up here today. So, neuromodulation, let's get on with it. What is it? Effectively, what it is applying technology directly to the target site. That's what it is. When you give people a chemical like a tablet, you flood the body with chemicals and it eventually gets to where you need it to be. But the better way of providing therapy is to put it where you need it effectively. So neuromodulation is using technology on nerves in a couple of sentences. The key about it is directly to the target area, which I'll expand on in a little bit. How long has it been around? Well, Zeus has been throwing his electrical current around for a very long time. But if you ask me how long has it been medically around, the first medical use was by a person called Scribonius Largus in AD 46. He used the torpedo fish to treat pain. His quote was, "For any type of gout, a live black torpedo should be used. When the pain begins, place it under your feet. Stand on a moist shore. Stay like this until the whole foot and leg up to the knee go numb. This takes away pain and prevents pain from coming on." And this he used to treat gout and headaches. So neuromodulation has been around for a long time, the use of electricity to manage pain or manage disease. How long has it been around medically? Well, the first neurostimulator was implanted in 1967. That's what it looks like. And this is the guy that did it, and he's still around managing pain. So that's Norman Sheely. A way to describe neuromodulation back then was like taking a hammer and knocking on the spinal cord to deliver therapy. Nowadays, the way smartphones have developed, it's become far more gentle on the body. It's like taking a brush, a feather, something, just gently touching the spinal cord in terms of having a therapeutic effect, which we'll come on to in a little while. Who uses it? I use it. I'm a pain specialist. Brain surgeons use it, which we'll talk about in a little while. Urologists use it, and it has many other applications in medicine. Cardiologists use it, they implant pacemakers for heart rhythm problems. ENT specialists use it, and many other areas in medicine use neuromodulation. What is it used for? That if we can control the nervous system, we can control disease. So if a disease has a basis with the neurological system, there is probably a way we can use neuromodulation to control disease, which I'll expand on. There are a lot of diseases of the neurological system, of the nervous system. Pain is a big one. Chronic pain disorders are a big one, particularly neuropathic or nervous pain disorders, neuropathic pain, of which there are many, which I'll elaborate on in a little while. Movement disorders, so problems with the nervous system that cause abnormalities in movement, which we will elaborate on in a little while. Pelvic disorders, so problems with bladder function, problems with bowel function, is a neurological problem, so we should be addressing it using this technology. Pacing the heart, hearing, everyone has heard of the cochlear implant. This is a neuromodulation device. And there are a huge number of other areas that are being investigated and expanded upon to use this therapy. Mobility disorders, eyesight, hearing problems, as we discussed, psychiatric, behavioral disorders. So the therapy is truly expanding at the moment. This is just describing it in another way. So if you have a look, on the left-hand side, these are approved uses of neuromodulation. So chronic pain, of which there are many conditions we can use to treat. Profound deafness, the cochlear implant, tremors, Parkinson's movement disorders, bladder incontinence, malignant pain, spasticity. So there are a number of uses currently approved for this therapy. And as you can see, there are many other areas of medicine that are being studied and investigated. Retinitis pigmentosa, obesity, respiratory problems, breathing problems, Huntington's, gastroparesis, irritable bowel. There's even some studies looking at obesity and neuromodulation, so the list continues to grow. I'm a pain specialist, so I'm going to have one slide on a couple of pain conditions that I can use this therapy for. Previously called failed back surgery syndrome, we like the term chronic pain after spinal surgery. Complex regional pain syndrome. Any form of neuropathic pain should be considered for this therapy. Refractory angina is a big indication for using neuromodulation. That is not angina that you're having because the heart is in trouble. This is angina that persists following all the blood vessels being opened up. So this is refractory angina. We should be working with cardiologists to use this for that type of pain syndrome. Some forms of back pain can be treated with neuromodulation. Abdominal pain, gastroparesis, and even pelvic pain. So there's a huge list of therapies we can use this on. How does it work? I've said it already. If you can control the nervous system, you can control disease. And that is where medicine is now moving into. So we're moving away from the chemical era, the opioid era, into the biotechnical era of medicine. What does it look like? Effectively, it's a pacemaker. There is a little battery, the size of a matchbox, and it's connected to some wires. There are different types of wires, there are different lengths of wires, and you can add a number of wires to a single battery, but effectively that's what it is. The battery is put in a fleshy part of the body, and the wires are implanted using a relatively simple surgical technique. This is reversible. If you have screws and rods put into your spine, effectively that's irreversible, so this can come out if it needs to come out. How does it work? It's complicated. We don't really know how it works, if you must know. The same way we don't really know how anesthetics work. But it does work, and this is where a lot of science and research is heading as well, to answer the question as to what it does. But effectively, if you put some wires, some leads near the spinal cord, it pulses electrical current into the spinal cord, and that can alter the way the spinal cord works. So you can see electrical impulses into the spinal cord. That's what a spinal cord looks like if you slice it like a piece of bread. And it can control nerve signals. And it's complicated, and the more we're learning about this, the more we're using this technology, the more we understand how complex it is. Is it tested? I typed in spinal cord stimulation into PubMed, which is a big medical archive for journals, and I got over 20,000 hits just for spinal cord stimulation. So the answer is yes. The answer is, do we need to do more work? The answer, absolutely yes. There is a database called WikiStim that you might go and have a look at, and that is a collation of all the relevant data, all the relevant investigations and scientific research that we go to keep ourselves up to date. And of course, conferences like this where everyone comes from all around the world to share ideas and research and experience. What are the benefits? To me, that just says it all, and this is one of my favorite pictures. What I do is about quality of life. And that is the why for most of us. This provides quality of life. This allows people to get off opioid medications, and that's where another big area of research is happening. What are the risks? If I tell you how good it is, I need to tell you that anything we do does come with risks. The risks are generally small. The technology is getting better. They say that you've got about a 1 in 10 chance as the years go on of something relatively minor happening. But anyone I talk to about this, I say 4 things. Sometimes the leads can move and need to be repositioned. Infection is a risk, and there are ways of reducing that. Sometimes the battery can be a little uncomfortable where you put it, so you've got to work with these minor risks that can happen with this technology. Sometimes the effects can reduce over time as well. Is it for me? If you have a chronic illness that is somehow based in the nervous system, with the nervous system, the answer is yes, you should consider it. You should start looking into it and become more informed about whether this technology, this treatment, is appropriate. The International Neuroodulation Society has a wealth of information on its website, so please have a look at that website. How can I find it? Well, this is the hard part. People are here because they are interested in learning about it, and unfortunately, GPs, medical specialists, don't always know about this treatment, and this is why we are advocating, and this is why we're always up on the podium educating and lecturing on this therapy. But there are some friendly neuromodulation societies around. There is the International Neuroodulation Society, and of course there's the local Australian chapter as well, so NSA, NZ. These could be your primary points of contact if you want to find out who does it and gather some more information. I think this is the final slide. Is it here to stay? I'm not going to answer that question, but I'm going to show you where it's going. These little devices are neuromodulation devices. We are moving away from batteries. We are moving to wireless devices. We are moving away to do this therapy through the skin. So I know what my answer is. I hope you gather what your answer would be as well. So that was just a whirlwind couple of slides on what is neuromodulation. We'll get to the important stuff now.